As long as the information he provides is accurate and reliable, he's useful. It just depends on how you use it. Tesla didn't claim that everything they do is correct. At that time, or outside of 3M, when they were deciding on the architecture of his sensor, LiDAR in the United States cost tens of thousands of dollars each, but he only wanted that for his car.
So NIO CEO really just wanted to justify how LiDAR was still very important as long as the data was correct, and that Tesla didn't use it simply because it added extra cost and it reduced their margin. And for NIO, of course, the Envoy cars won't have LiDAR to improve margins.
I think when it comes to product management, there are areas where our approach isn't comprehensive enough or our understanding isn't deep enough. We've gained a lot of experience and learned many lessons in this area, so we're making changes accordingly. So you're probably wondering if we're going to equip the LW60 with all these features, right? Everyone's getting excited thinking, great, we're getting a safe, comfortable, spacious vehicle. And we'll just throw in a panoramic sunroof for good measure. It seems pretty standard. But why is that? Relatively speaking, we're just following the crowd, mainly focusing on what others are doing.
This one's very interesting. He admits that they were wrong in the fact that there were some very important features, such as having a fridge, having TV screens in the car, which they were wrong to not add on the NIO products. But of course, with the Envoy 60, they're going to add all of those in. They're following the crowd. Whatever that sells well, they're going to add it into the car. So that makes them very confident that the Envoy 60 is going to be a very successful product.
Can we avoid low-quality content and refrain from issuing weekly rankings? We never make any sales forecasts or publish any unaudited weekly rankings. We have never authorized any other organization to publish weekly editions using our name, and we won't do so in the future. In our company, no more than 10 people have access to our weekly sales data. I believe the relevant departments should be able to manage this issue.
So this one is very interesting. NIO's president is just frustrated at why the entire industry is competing in terms of sales and then not in terms of features or tech or safety or quality or customer satisfaction, but just weekly sales. And it seems to have an overemphasis on that. And at the same time, these guys, namely Li Auto, publishing these weekly numbers, they don't even have the accurate numbers that NIO has. In NIO, there's only like a couple guys that actually know how many cars they sold every week. So that's why weekly insurance registrations might actually not be that accurate compared to total deliveries at the end of the month. Now, this clip is very interesting. It's kind of long, but NIO CEO explains why NIO is so misunderstood by both investors and also people, consumers alike, the public. And before, they wouldn't really do lots of marketing, but now we saw that SG&A costs have really increased. They're doing a lot of marketing because the products are so misunderstood. Some people think that NIOs can't charge, all sorts of dumb stuff like that. So here, listen to this. Listen to what NIO CEO has to say.
Good service, they're trying hard to say what others are saying is just like what you're saying, but it's not well organized internally. And then someone comes along and says it's useless. Your rhythm when speaking French has nuance. It's pretty much all about nuance, you know. We didn't really care too much about this nuance before. Nuance is nuance. We just focused on doing a good job, and that was enough for us. But I think this approach is wrong. In today's social media era, we actually have a responsibility to clearly explain the real future to everyone. So if you don't speak up, you'll be consumed, you'll be led by others' rhythm, you'll be labeled, you'll be misunderstood. From a personal perspective, I actually have a pretty thick skin about it. It doesn't really bother me. But it affects our company's brand as a whole. It affects our sales. It affects our users' feelings. Many of our users buy our cars and then get criticized for it. How is that fair? In fact, our users are very ambitious, very practical, and very responsible people. Because buying our car, to be honest, requires a deeper understanding of many things. It's like thinking on another level, which many people can appreciate. So we should actually let everyone know about the real future. That's why we decided to work on NIO Inc. since last year, which is to really tell everyone what our foundation is. What is our foundation? It's technology, it's research and development. We've invested so much money, and we didn't talk about it before. We certainly can't let people think that those who just write superficial articles are the ones with real technical skills, right? We're really communicating our underlying ideas, our technical layout, our thinking, and our progress with everyone. And some things will only show results after a few years. If you don't explain this to everyone, people will think you haven't done anything, and in the end, you'll be misunderstood. Spending money in the future will be inefficient, right? You're causing a lot of trouble. His management is inefficient? Maybe Li Bin should teach me how to be a CEO, or perhaps Li Bin is too soft-hearted. He can't be tough. Anyway, he's just too nice. In short, on the surface, all these implications seem fine. But in reality, they're all setting traps for you with various hidden meanings, right? When it comes to these traps, I feel we need to communicate with others about this. Let me give you an example. I often say that a student who's good at Chinese isn't necessarily bad at math after graduation, nor are they bad at English or physical education. It's possible that we've learned to develop in an all-round way. Or as we discussed today, we're doing well with battery swapping, but everyone isn't too keen on it. In the future, our charging will also be the best. Just like we're doing a good job with service, how can they say our technology isn't good? So, many times it's easy for someone to set this tone today, thinking that if the service is good in the future, then the technology must be bad. In the future, with battery swapping, will this car be able to charge? They will have this kind of thinking. Today, it's not a black and white issue, so what should we do? We can only organize more activities using different perspectives to introduce our real situation from all angles. If you don't explain, people have no obligation to understand. If you say you're great internally, that won't work either. We can't just rely on internal praise now. So I think at least we can let everyone recognize the real future. Maybe not everyone will agree with everything we'll do in the future, but we hope fewer people misunderstand us. It's like why I'm doing live broadcasts now. I do live broadcasts to avoid being misunderstood by others. You see, it used to be said that because of one person, people wouldn't buy a car. I originally thought we knew who was setting this tone. We knew who did it. We just said, you set the tone, so be it. Why are you still using fake accounts? But some people who set this tone really believe it. They don't understand us at all, and they say the same things. That makes it very difficult. So recently, it seems there are some people who bought a car because of one person. I've done a few live broadcasts. Actually, I've done 4 in total, and today is the 5th time. It seems there's a bit more interest now, which is good. We are a company. We have a responsibility to create a foundation for sustainable operation for our employees, shareholders, and users. So what should we do? We'll do it too.